Sophie is a young entrepreneur who runs her family bakery that sells about 300 different varieties of bread a day. One day, several customers returned to her and reported that the bread had lost its fragrance and texture within a day or two of purchase. Sophie was alarmed and wanted to talk to her chef about the issue. She invited her chef for a meeting, and during the discussion, she discovered that there is much more to it than simple storage issues. Therefore, she requested her chef to schedule a meeting to discuss the issue in depth and brainstorm its causes and strategies to prevent it. Let's take a look at this. The question before Sophie is what led to bread losing its texture and fragrance within a day or two of purchase. Bread is a bakery product that is widely consumed for its texture. It is made of wheat, which is a rich source of starch. Starch is a polysaccharide that is an energy reserve in plant cells, just like glycogen in animal cells. It is stored mostly in amyloplasts of plant cells. The starch is composed of a soluble fraction, which is called as amylose, and an insoluble fraction called as amylopectin, often present in the ratio 1 is to 3. It is for this reason that starch is insoluble. Moving on, let's see how this has an impact on the freshness of bread. The first step in the production of bread is dough formation, during which wheat cells are exposed to water. As wheat cells are areas of lower concentration of water, there is movement of water from its region of higher concentration to its region of lower concentration via osmosis. This facilitates in swelling of starch granules in a reversible manner. The second stage in production of bread is baking process, where you are subjecting your dough to very high temperatures, often beyond 100 to 150 degrees Celsius. Now, when starch molecules are subjected to such high temperatures, what happens is starch-starch interactions are broken, resulting in loss of crystalline structure of starch. Now, this facilitates water molecules to enter easily and interact with starch fractions, that is amylose and amylopectin. In short, you can say that there is loss of starch-starch interactions and there is promotion of starch-water interactions. The process is called as gelatinization, and it helps us in getting a product that is soft and edible. It is this gelatinization process that confers breadcrumbs a soft and chewy texture that we all cherish. The third stage in production is cooling. Cooling occurs immediately once you remove your bread from the oven. If the heated gelatinized starch is cooled and stored for a long period of time, the starch becomes less soluble in water, giving rise to stale and dried bread with less moisture content. The process is called as retrogradation. So what happens during retrogradation, if you look at this image here, is that there is realignment of starch, amylose and amylopectin. You compare it with the first step, wherein you had a complete starch with properly aligned amylose and amylopectin. You see it's much different from the retrograded starch, which has a completely different alignment of amylose and amylopectin. Now, this realignment is to promote starch-starch interactions so that starch can regain its crystalline structure. Both amylose and amylopectin tend to gain back their crystalline structure. But in case of amylopectin, it takes a little longer due to its complex structure. So, what is the consequence of retrogradation when we talk about breads? First, there is loss of texture, then loss of flavor, loss of freshness, all of which are negatively perceived by consumers. So, Sophie Chef provides three solutions to tackle the issue of retrogradation. First is to make use of appropriate emulsifiers. Second, to make use of enzymes that are capable of breaking or digesting starch like amylase. Finally, controlling several ingredients and processing parameters. What I mean by that is you can always take a wheat that has appropriate amount of amylose and amylopectin. The ratio in which they are present is an important determinant of when they undergo retrogradation. They can also monitor the gelatinization temperature and storage temperature. Thank you for staying with me through the video. In case you have any queries, please feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll get back at the earliest.